up on WTV News, see how the government shutdown is affecting the Wartburg community.
And how does Wartburg's current alcohol policy affect students' decisions to get medical attention when they've drank too much?
Wartburg is a Lutheran-affiliated college, but not all students are tied to a Christian faith. How do some students feel about the college's Christian traditions?
You're watching WTV News, live on Wartburg Television. From the Grant Price Studio, breaking news, local coverage, and sports. This is WTV News.
Welcome back to another week of WTV News. I'm Ashley Davis.
And I'm Nicole Lyons. Joining us now is Waverly attorney Karen Thalacker.
Karen is here to explain to us what the government shutdown means for us here in Waverly. Thank you for joining us, Karen. Can you first explain to us what led to the shutdown?
The government has a fiscal year that ends on September 30th, and so they have to have a new budget that's passed by October 1st, and because that didn't happen, the government shut down. The major impasse was that the Republican-led House of Representatives wanted to tie the budget to a defunding of the Affordable Care Act, or Obamacare is what it's called, and the Senate would not agree to that. And because we're at an impasse, there's no funding, and so there's no government right now.
Okay, what happens to the federal employees when this happens?
The federal agencies go agency by agency using existing federal guidelines to determine which employees are what they call essential or exempt employees and which are non-exempt. If you're exempt, that means that you're protecting life or property, basically, and so they allow you to continue working, but you don't get a paycheck. You basically get an IOU from the government. But if you're not considered exempt or essential, then you are furloughed and have to go home and can't work.
So will the government shutdown have an impact on student loans or financial aid?
At this point, no. The Department of Education has said that things will go on as usual. However, if it goes on much longer than probably 2 weeks, you are going to be seeing an impact. Even right now, websites are shut down so that if people want to have questions answered about financial aid or loans, they may not get the answers. Plus, once the government reopens, there's going to be a problem with a backlog of business that has accumulated during this time. So we're getting into a time period right now that we're over a week into it, that this could be very difficult to bounce back from very quickly.
Great. And is there anything else we should know about the government shutdown?
Just if you have an opinion about it, you should contact your legislators and let them know what you think.
All right. Thank you for joining us, Karen. Wartburg College is also feeling the effects of the government shutdown in their daily lives.
WTV's Zach Schultz tells us how.
The recent gridlock over the budget in Washington has caused a funding lapse for many government programs. Zach Barnes, a 2009 graduate of Wartburg, serves as a biological science technician at Yellowstone National Park. He discussed the implications of the furlough on the park.
It's really inconveniencing pretty much every aspect of what is going on in the park here, and it's really unfortunate to see that because it's letting down the American public.
Barnes also discussed the economic opportunity lost in the surrounding communities.
From my perspective, working for the National Park Service, it's pretty obvious the impacts that our parks in the United States have on our economy.
The shutdown also affected the Wartburg Career Fair. AmeriCorps, one organization that provides governmental-related services, was unable to attend the career fair. The Associate Director of Pathways for Career Services, Derek Solheim, says this was a disappointment for students.
I think if you look at it from the career fair perspective, many of our students lost an opportunity to learn about programs like AmeriCorps and Vista. And traditionally, we have a number of students after they graduate and while they're currently in school or maybe in summer school that participate in these programs.
Barnes and Solheim both expressed hope that the leaders in Washington would come together to get the government running again. Reporting for WTV, I'm Zach Schultz.
Students are taking initiative this year by getting involved in the ICAP program on campus. ICAP, short for Iowa Campus AmeriCorps program, is a volunteer project focusing on peer-to-peer education on sustainability and natural resource management. Currently, 8 students are full-time members of the ICAP program. Members pledge 300 volunteer hours over the course of one academic year to then receive a stipend of about $1,000 for their service.
Well, the extra money is obviously helpful, but I'm just really passionate about volunteering. Like, I love to do it, and I love to educate others about issues, and so I just thought this would be the perfect opportunity to do that.
This summer, Pathways added a new member to their roster to help students with career and vocation mentoring. TJ Warren, a graduate from the University of Northern Iowa, was hired on as a counselor last May term. Warren works mostly for first and second year students, helping them lay out a career path for their 4 years at Wartburg. Warren remembers the challenges of picking a career in college well and encourages students to visit him with any concerns.
I came into college not understanding what it was I wanted to do, spent 2 years trying to figure that out, and some days I feel like I still am starting to sift through that. It's a life-changing thing to figure out what you want to do and what your purpose is, and I don't want students to fear that at all. So come see me.
Some colleges have alcohol policies that say if a student has had too much to drink and needs medical attention, neither they or the student helping them will be penalized.
This is to encourage students to get to a hospital if they need to. However, Wartburg does not have a policy like that. WTV's Jacqueline Schutte found out why.
Wartburg's alcohol policy has set guidelines that say students can get charged for signs of public intoxication or any other federal alcohol violations. That includes underage drinking. Each alcohol violation is reviewed on a case-by-case basis.
It really just comes down to what the institution feels is the best situation for each particular student.
According to Director of Residential Life Wes Brooks, that policy is aimed at teaching students to make smart decisions.
We understand the students see sanctioning of a situation as getting in trouble. We as an institution don't see it that way. We see the process as something that's educational.
Director of Campus Security John Myers says changing the policy could have a negative effect.
If you have a policy that says if you've been drinking and you need medical attention, there will be no repercussions, then that would maybe even encourage more drinking.
Wartburg students say having a policy where students would not get in trouble for seeking medical attention might be a good idea.
Say that students would still get in trouble, then students probably would be afraid to go and contact someone.
Knowing they wouldn't get in trouble might, help them actually seek out help. But I understand, though, that it is still, an issue, and there still should be some consequences.
Both Wartburg Security and Res Life directors say they just want students to be successful and healthy. Reporting for WTV, I'm Jacqueline Schutte.
John Myers does encourage students who are unsure of what to do in these situations to call Wartburg Security at 319-352-999 or 911.
Coming up next on WTV News, find out how some students feel about being the minority at Wartburg when it comes to religious beliefs.
And coming up later on Sports Night, the volleyball team hosted 2 ranked opponents at its annual Knights Classic this weekend, including the defending national champions.
As a college of the Lutheran Church, Wartburg promotes faith and spirituality as one of its main education pillars.
However, some students don't believe in the Christian beliefs the school promotes, and some don't believe in any religion at all. WTV's Kelsey Bemis reports.
My name is Wes Carlson, and I don't really affiliate myself with any religion.
I'm Carly Simon Gersick, and I'm Jewish.
According to the enrollment report released last week, Carlson and Simon Gersick are a minority on the Wartburg campus. The report found that 92.5% of students on Wartburg's campus are Christian, and less than 1% affiliate themselves as Islam, Hindu, Buddhist, or Jewish. Simon Gersick says students are often surprised to hear her religion.
I get more of "you're really Jewish, or are you kidding" kind of thing, because for a lot of people they're from very small towns where it's not every day that they meet a Jew, and I've been told quite often that you're the first Jew I've met.
Carlson is a member of Wartburg Choir, which sings religious songs and prays every day before practice. But he says this doesn't bother him.
I can appreciate someone giving me a message that has to do with their faith, but I can take that into my life and just leave the faith part out of it, and it's still meaningful.
The students agreed that honoring their religious beliefs, or lack of, can be difficult.
There's not much on Wartburg itself. I mean, there's not a rabbi that's going to come in for one student to do a service or whatnot.
Carlson says he does not regret his decision to attend a school of the church and that he wouldn't choose anywhere else.
The only thing I think about it as is, I wouldn't be with as close of a group of people as the Wartburg campus and community is. So, I've thought about it, but I definitely don't regret my decision.
Reporting for WTV News, I'm Kelsey Bemis.
Wartburg pastor Ramona Bizard said that campus ministry offers things such as alternate church services, the Lily Reflection Room, and interfaith dinners for various religions to practice their faith.
An annual project is helping professors and students bond over reading. The Hearthside Project is a program where one professor and 3 students read a book and talk about it throughout the semester. This is the 3rd year for the Hearthside Project, and it's been continually growing since it was started by Dr. Paula Servilla.
Because it's not just about the professor's specialty, but it's also about the specialties that each student brings to the group. And so I'd like to say that everybody is welcome.
Coming up next, find out how the largest horse sale in the nation is affecting Waverly businesses.
And as voting season draws closer, Democratic speakers are coming to campus. Learn why they want your vote.
People in Waverly may have noticed more traffic and longer lines at restaurants this weekend.
I got the chance to go out to the 4-day Waverly horse sale last week and see how it impacted businesses throughout the community.
We've had people that say, what's going on in Waverly? We can't find a hotel in Waverly, in Charles City, Cedar Falls, and we go, the nation's largest horse sale is going on.
People traveled from all over the globe for the Waverly horse sale last week.
It's been around so long that if you're in any kind of a horse industry or a horse person, you've heard of Waverly, Iowa.
Thousands of people come to Waverly in the spring and fall for the horse sale. But what makes Waverly stand apart from other horse sales and auctions?
A lot of people come because you can go out and see quarter horses or race horses, but you usually don't get to see the big draft working horses that are here at the sale.
People come from all over the United States and Canada to the sale here because it's one of the biggest attractions for draft horses in the country.
Well, it's a nice, comfortable little town, easy to get around, and sometimes a little hard to find a motel room because this sale brings a lot of people from all over the United States and probably some foreign countries.
With people coming from all over, the Waverly Horse Sale gives Waverly the opportunity to showcase their businesses.
The Waverly Horse Sale is a huge economic impact from the standpoint people stay in our hotels, they eat in our restaurants, and they fill up at our gas stations.
The 2 weeks of horse sale every year are our 2 busiest weeks of the year. We see 1,000 people in here during those days.
Even though it's busy, business owners such as Gents enjoy seeing the new faces that the Waverly Horse Sale brings to town.
I'm happy to be part of it. I think that the Waverly area benefits hugely from this, and I hope that the horse sale goes on for the next 100 years.
The Waverly community honored a man key to starting the Waverly Rail Trail last weekend. On Saturday, a recently installed plaque was dedicated to Dr. Jim Rothy at the trailhead behind Quick Start East. Rothy has been an advocate for the trail's developments for over 20 years. He also actively volunteered his time for maintenance and special events held on the trail since it opened in 1999.
When I think about how the Waverly Rail Trail came into being and how it's been supported and maintained from its inception in '99 until today, I always think of Dr. Jim Rothy.
5 Iowans are running for the 1st Congressional District Chair. The Wartburg Democrats are hosting 4 of the nominees to speak to the community and students. Anessa Kozovic was the first speaker of the 4 on Tuesday. Future candidates include Swati Dankar, Dave O'Brien, and Pat Murphy. Community members and students are encouraged to attend these informational events Tuesday nights in October in the White House Business Center, room 116.
Wartburg Democrats, our goal this year is just to kind of inform students about the candidates and who they're voting for, because we just want everyone to kind of know why they're voting for a specific person and not just to be voting blindly.
Up next on WTV News, an internationally known Wartburg music professor and singer is raising money to save lives.
And Wartburg has lost 2 straight games to Simpson by 1 point, but Saturday was different. Check out all the highlights coming up on Sports Night.
A Wartburg music professor will be raising money to end an everyday illness in African countries. Dr. Simon Estes is in the works to raise $5 million to prevent malaria. All the money raised will be used to buy nets for protection against mosquitoes and who carry the disease. The project is in partnership with the United Nations. Dr. Estes says he wants to raise the money because the disease is preventable and can be stopped.
Now, there's some reports now that say that every 30 seconds a child dies. Some say it's every 45 seconds, and some reports say every 60 seconds. But whether it's 30, 45, or 60 seconds, and it's preventable, I think this is a crime against humanity.
If you want to learn more about donating, you can visit Dr. Estes' website at simonestesfoundation.org.
Homecoming is this weekend, and Wartburg is protecting their castle. Thursday is Castle Capers, Coronation, and the Pep Rally. Friday is Spirit Day and another performance of Castle Capers. Game Day is Saturday, along with the parade, Ren Fair, and Oktoberfest. And you can catch a concert along with homecoming worship on Sunday.
Homecoming is just a time for us to put on and display our school pride. It's so exciting to be able to showcase and demonstrate to others why we love Wartburg the way that we do.
Thank you for watching WTV News.
Nathan Ford is here to tell us what's coming up next on Sports Night.
Thanks, Ashley. It's one of the biggest rivalries in Iowa Conference athletics, and the latest installment took place on Saturday. Could the Wartburg men's soccer team knock off 4th-ranked Loris? Find out next on Sports Night.